So one of the first things you have to figure out as a product marketer is how to actually launch a product. And in a lot of startups and founding PMM roles, there won't be an established go-to-market plan already in place. And there's a million different ways on how to launch a product. But if you're just starting out as a PMM, it can be daunting to know where to start. So that's why I wanted to lay out my step-by-step framework that I've used in previous product marketing roles. So I will lay out my 9 steps now, going from the very beginning of how to identify the problem and solution, going all the way through to post-launch activities. I will also offer my advice on how best to go about each step, recommendations on tools to use, and any pitfalls to avoid. So let's get started. For step 1, identify the problem and solution. First thing you need to do is build a foundation. And that starts by determining what problem your product actually solves. And this step may sound simple, but there are products and features where sometimes the exact value isn't agreed upon by product and engineering. So you want to start by having conversations with the product team, with engineering, to thoroughly understand the product, see where it fits among current offerings, the priority level, and really reach a consensus on what problem the product is trying to solve. And once you're comfortable with your knowledge of the problem and solution, conduct customer validation interviews to ensure you're addressing real pain points. This will help guide both clarity for your product development and marketing messaging. For step 2, conduct market research. With your problem and solution identified, the next step is to conduct comprehensive market research. Utilize both quantitative and qualitative methods for gathering data. Personally, I like to use Hotjar to help provide user insights through heat maps and session recordings. And I also like to use Clue for competitive intelligence to understand market positioning, and use surveys and customer interviews for deeper insights. I like to use Google Trends to identify emerging patterns in consumer behavior. And all this research really validates your ideas, and you can refine your approach before making significant investment. For step 3, define your ICP, or ideal customer profile. Develop your ICP by identifying the companies or individuals that would most likely benefit from using your product. Consider factors like company size, industry, budget, and decision-making processes. Use your CRM to help segment your audience. Use data from an existing customer base or industry reports to help inform your ICP. This profile will guide your marketing efforts, ensuring you're targeting the most promising prospects. For step 4, positioning and messaging. Positioning and messaging is arguably the most important part of the product marketing function. If your positioning and messaging is off, you're not going to be resonating with the right audience. I would recommend to start with a clear positioning statement that defines your target market, product category, key differentiation, and reason to believe. Here's an example of a basic positioning statement. For your target market, comma, your product is your category, that, your differentiation, because, and the reason to believe this. For messaging, I would recommend to use the messaging house framework. This includes your brand position, value pillars, product promises with proof points, and emotional benefits. Remember to test and refine your positioning messaging based on market feedback using tools like Google Analytics or A/B testing platforms. I also personally love to use Winter for message testing. For step 5, develop a pricing and packaging strategy. This step is often overlooked, but it's a crucial part of positioning the product to where it sits on the value scale. And there's all different approaches to pricing, such as value-based pricing, competitive pricing, or penetration pricing. So I would research each and see which one fits best with your product's perceived value. Also, choose a pricing model that aligns with your product and market, such as subscription, seat-based, usage-based, or transaction-based pricing. And pricing is not a one-time decision, so be sure to build in flexibility for future adjustments based on market responses. For step 6, creating a marketing and launch plan. This step involves developing a comprehensive launch plan for marketing and launch plan activities. This step involves a lot of alignment, communication, and making sure that everyone's on the same page. You will need individuals across the organization to execute tasks on launch day, so hold frequent meetings in addition to asynchronous communication tactics to make sure everyone stays informed. For launch tactics, plan your channel mix, balancing owned, earned, and paid media. Consider a phased launch approach to allow for adjustments based on initial market feedback. If you're new to product marketing, try to find examples of other companies who have excelled at product launches. If you're looking for inspiration, I've mentioned them in the past, but I like Ready for Launch podcasts where they share best examples of product launches in the market. For step 7, sales enablement. And for this step, don't just assume you know what the sales team needs to be successful. Have real conversations with the sales team to identify what pieces of collateral and training they need to be successful. And from there, make your sales enablement plan. Typical pieces of content include battle cards, product training materials, a pitch deck, and objection handling guides. The goal of sales enablement is to make sure the sales team understands the ICP and can clearly articulate the value proposition of the product. For step 8, define metrics and considerations. You want to establish clear KPIs to measure launch success. This involves conversations with multiple department heads to ensure that everyone is aligned on what launch success looks like. And after agreement, set up dashboards to monitor metrics like sales targets, user adoption rates, and customer satisfaction scores prior to launch. Another crucial step is identifying potential risk and developing contingency plans. No matter how good a product is, there is always a risk that something could go wrong or a product won't resonate as anticipated. So identifying what could go wrong and how you would respond will cause less panic later on if that bad news comes because you've already developed a contingency plan. For step 9, post-launch activities. Okay. Don't assume the work stops on launch day. Plan for ongoing activities. Implement a system for continuous customer feedback collection using tools like Hotjar or SurveyMonkey. Schedule regular performance reviews to assess the product's market reception. And be prepared to iterate on your messaging or strategy based on real-world feedback and customer insights. Messaging and positioning shouldn't be static. They should be continually evolving as your customers and their needs change. So the launch is just the beginning. Ongoing optimization will be needed if you want to achieve long-term success. So that's my framework. I was going to end this video by knocking down the house of flashcards, but unfortunately it fell down before I had the chance to film it. But I think that's a good lesson for product launches, to pay attention to the small details, otherwise they can come crashing down. And if you're new to product marketing, just know if you stay curious and willing to learn from your lessons, you'll be just fine and get progressively better at your product launches. So that's all for now. If you like, go ahead and like and subscribe to the Product Marketing Chronicles YouTube channel. Bye for now.